There are people who talk too much. There are people who never know when to stop talking. And then there are people who understand their words are dangerous. This story is about one woman who understands that better than anyone. Igbale, a land where the sun rose like a stubborn child, refusing to wake early, and the wind carried gossip faster than the fastest market woman. It was so old that even the oldest tree could not remember when the first house was built. Everyone knew each other's business, including the business people were still planning to do tomorrow. If you sneezed in the morning, by afternoon, people would be discussing whether it was spiritual, physical, or caused by somebody's jealousy. And in this village lived a woman, not just a woman, she was a warning. Her name was Mama Omolara, but nobody called her that anymore because in Igbale, names were powerful and her name carried too much silence. People called her the woman who never spoke twice. She was not mute, she was not sick, she was not cursed. She simply spoke once to each person in her lifetime. If she spoke to you again, it meant one of two things, either death or destiny. Nobody knew how it started. Some said she was born during eclipse, when the moon swallowed the sun halfway and spat it back out. Others said her mother dreamed of a river that spoke in human language the night before she was born. But what everyone agreed on was this. Every single person Omolara ever spoke to twice either died within days or rose into something nobody expected. So, people feared her. They respected her. They avoided her like unpaid debt. Children were warned, don't greet that woman too much before she greets you back again. Women whispered when she passed, and men, they suddenly found urgent reasons to look at the sky, the ground, or their toes. Mama Omolara lived at the edge of the village, in a small clay house that always smelled faintly of herbs and rain, even during dry season. She farmed alone, she fetched water alone, she laughed alone, and when she spoke, which was rare, her voice was calm, steady, and ordinary, which somehow made it more frightening. Now, every village has a hero waiting to be discovered, and every village also has a disgrace on two legs. In Igbale, that disgrace was called Kunle the drunkard. Ha! If irresponsibility had a face, it would borrow Kunle's own. If foolishness needed legs, it would definitely use his own. Kunle was not always a drunkard, but nobody remembered when he stopped being anything else. From morning till night, he smelled like palm wine, burukutu, ogogoro, and regret. His trousers were always fighting gravity and losing. His slippers had seen things no slipper should ever see. He sang loudly with confidence and terribly with pride. When he laughed, saliva escaped without permission. When he walked, even the ground complained. Children mocked him openly. Women insulted him creatively. Men avoided him so his bad luck would not touch them. And yet, somehow, Kunle survived every day like an unwanted miracle. He slept anywhere. He ate anything. He borrowed money he never returned. And when asked about his life, he would say, with drunken wisdom, life is hard, so I make it soft with drink. People had long decided that Kunle was useless. A wasted life, a man with no future, the kind of person destiny skips without apology. One afternoon, under the sun that looked offended by human existence, Kunle staggered towards the village square, singing a song that made no sense but plenty noise. As he passed Mama Omolara's house, he tripped hard, face first into the dust. People laughed at him. Some clapped. One child even shouted, "Ah, see him oh, Earth has finally accepted him." But something unexpected happened. The door of Mama Omolara's house opened. The entire village held its breath. She stepped out slowly, her wrapper neat, her eyes calm, her presence heavy like rain clouds. She looked at Kunle, still lying on the ground, arguing with the dust, as if it offended him, and she spoke. Just one sentence. Kunle, she said, stand up before the ground decides to keep you. The laughter died instantly. People froze. She had spoken to him once. Kunle blinked, confused. He stood up, dusted himself, bowed dramatically like a performer, and said, Aha! Evil spirits greet me now. Thank you, fine madam. She went back inside. The door closed. Some people shook their heads. Others whispered, Ha! Why him? Such power wasted on a useless man. She should have saved her words. Months later, during the New Yam Festival, the loudest, proudest, most dramatic celebration in Igbale, the entire village gathered. There was food so plenty that even the gods would need takeaway. Kunle, of course, was already drunk before noon. He danced terribly, but confidently, knocking over stools, stepping on toes, and attempting to beat the drum backwards. At some point, while everyone was distracted by fireworks and laughter, Kunle wandered towards the forest part behind the village. Nobody noticed except Mama Omolara. She stood still, then she walked, and then, in front of everyone, she called his name. Kunle! 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 People turned. Fear crawled into their bones because she had already spoken to him once. She walked closer. Her voice did not shake. This is the second time I will speak to you, she said. Silence. Even the drums stopped. This path leads to your end, she continued. But if you turn back now, it will also lead to your beginning. The entire village gasped. Second time? Could this be death or destiny? Kunle stared at her, suddenly sober in a way alcohol had never allowed. For the first time in his life, someone had not insulted, laughed or dismissed him. Someone had seen him. He turned back. That night, Kunle dreamed, not drunken nonsense, a clear dream. He saw himself standing before ancestors, before rivers that spoke, before voices that said, You were broken, so you would be soft enough to be reshaped. He woke up sweating, and for the first time in years, he did not reach for alcohol. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Kunle changed, slowly, painfully. People mocked him at first. Some said, See this one, oh, ex-drunkard forming destiny. And they laughed. But he persisted. He worked on himself. He listened. He learned. And then something happened in the village. A terrible sickness came to Igbale. People fell ill. Herbs failed. Prayers seemed delayed. And it was Kunle, that same Kunle, who remembered old healing songs his grandmother once sang when he was a child. He sang, he mixed herbs, guided by dreams. People recovered, one by one. The village realized something terrifying. The drunkard had been chosen. One evening, Kunle went to thank Mama Omolara, but her house was empty. Inside, he found only a calabash and a message carved into wood. It said, My work here is done, my child. I never spoke twice to warn death. I spoke twice to reveal destiny. She was never seen nor heard of again. Some say she returned to the river. Some say she was never human. But one thing became law in Igbale: never judge the ignored, never mock the broken, and never forget that words can awaken what suffering only hid. Dear viewers, words carry power, whether spoken once or twice. Second chances are not always loud. Sometimes they whisper. The people we ignore may be chosen for greatness. Destiny sometimes hides inside disgrace. And even what looks like a wasted life may be a life waiting for the right voice. So the next time you speak, remember your words matter, and the next time you see someone who seems small, broken, or forgotten, maybe they are just waiting for the right voice to find them. Don't miss your chance to be that voice. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.